There are airports built beside cities, airports built on islands, and airports built across deserts. But in Bhutan, one runway seems to wait inside the mountains themselves. Paro International Airport does not announce itself with endless concrete. It appears suddenly, folded into a narrow Himalayan valley beside the Pa Chhu River. From above, the valley looks too intimate for a jetliner, too sacred for engines, too carefully shaped by cliffs to forgive arrogance. Here, the aircraft does not simply descend. It must read the terrain, follow the bends of the valley, and arrive almost like a guest. This is the airport where mountains decide the landing, and where the final approach feels less like routine aviation than a negotiation with stone. Bhutan is a country of high passes, forested ridges, fortress monasteries, and valleys where history and geography have always been inseparable. For centuries, movement through this land depended on paths, rivers, bridges, pack animals, and endurance. The mountains protected the kingdom, but they also isolated it. When modern aviation arrived, it brought an impossible question. Where could a runway exist without tearing the country away from its own landscape? Paro offered something rare, a valley wide enough to receive aircraft, yet still surrounded by peaks that made every arrival a serious test. The airport sits near Paro town, not far from Bhutan's capital, Thimphu, but the journey by air is defined by the last few minutes. Before the wheels touch the asphalt, the plane has already entered a corridor of ridges, homes, trees, temples, and changing wind. Unlike many major airports, Paro is not a place where pilots simply follow long, straight instrument corridors toward a flat horizon. The official airport information describes flights to and from Paro as restricted to daylight hours and visual meteorological conditions. That single detail changes everything. The pilot must see the valley, interpret it, and make decisions with the landscape in full view. In clear weather, the approach can look breathtaking. In cloud, wind, or poor visibility, the valley can become a locked gate. The airport is framed by peaks rising to around 5,500 meters, creating a natural wall that shapes both the beauty and the difficulty of the flight. At this altitude, the air is thinner than at sea level, and aircraft performance changes. Every calculation matters more when the runway is surrounded by mountains. The runway itself is modest by international standards, a single strip of asphalt in a valley where expansion is limited by geography. That is part of the paradox. Paro is the international gateway to Bhutan, yet it never lets the traveler forget that the Himalayas came first. The approach begins long before the passenger understands what is happening. The aircraft lines up not with a distant runway, but with a mountain valley. Outside the window, ridges rise close enough to feel personal. The horizon breaks into layers of shadow, forest, and snow-lit peaks. The route is not a grand straight line across open land. It is a sequence of visual cues, angles, river bends, and discipline corrections. Experienced crews describe the need for specific training at Paro, and in some cases guidance from a navigator familiar with the valley. This is why Paro has become legendary among pilots, not because it is reckless, but because it leaves little room for casual flying. In many modern airports, technology smooths the final minutes. At Paro, the human eye and local knowledge remain central to the story. The landscape offers reference points, slopes, ridges, a river line, villages, temple roofs, and the narrowing shape of the valley floor. Each of these details becomes part of the approach. The airport is not separate from Bhutan. It is written into Bhutan's geography. The final descent can feel almost cinematic, with a jet moving between green hills, white walls, golden roofs, and dark mountain shadows. But beneath the beauty is discipline. A missed cue, an unstable approach, or a sudden wind shift can force a decision before the runway is near. Pilots do not conquer Paro. They prepare for it, respect it, and enter it only when the conditions allow. The drama of this airport is not only technical, it is also cultural, because the runway sits inside a living landscape, not an empty wilderness. Around the airport are homes, fields, monasteries, roads, and sacred places. The aircraft arrives through a valley that people have inhabited for generations. Bhutan's architecture adds another layer: whitewashed walls, carved windows, prayer flags, and fortress-like dzongs that appear to belong to the mountains. This creates one of the world's most unusual aviation scenes: modern aircraft descending through a setting shaped by tradition, Buddhism, and royal history. Paro is often described as one of the world's most challenging airports, but the word challenging is more accurate than simply dangerous. The airport operates under strict limits precisely because the terrain demands caution. Those limits are part of what keeps the experience controlled. Flights are shaped by daylight, visibility, wind, training, and the ability to turn the aircraft with precision inside the valley. The passengers may see beauty. The pilots see angles, speed, terrain, energy, and the exact moment when a safe landing remains possible. As the runway comes into view, it may seem to appear late, almost hidden until the aircraft has already committed to the valley. That delayed reveal gives Paro its mythic quality, a runway that does not dominate the land, but emerges from within it. The aircraft crosses over the last ridges and drops toward the valley floor, with mountains still rising behind and beside it. For a few seconds, the world compresses: engines, wind, houses, forests, river, runway, and the silent weight of the Himalayas. Then the wheels touch down, and the tension releases into applause, breath, and disbelief at what the landscape has allowed. But the story of Paro is not finished at landing. Takeoff carries its own challenge, because the aircraft must climb out through the same mountain world. A departure from Paro is not simply acceleration down a runway. It is a planned escape through air, terrain, temperature, and timing. The valley that welcomed the aircraft now demands that it gain energy, climb correctly, and follow a precise path back into open sky. This is why Paro is more than a transportation hub. It is a reminder that engineering does not erase nature. It works within nature's limits. Many airports are designed to make the landscape disappear. Paro does the opposite. It makes every traveler aware of where they are. The mountains are not background. They are participants in every arrival, every departure, every delay, and every decision. For Bhutan, the airport is a gateway to the world. For the world, it is a gateway into a country that has never been ordinary. The valley also shows a rare kind of restraint. There is no endless sprawl, no visual chaos, no airport city swallowing the horizon. Instead, the runway remains almost humble, placed inside a geography that refuses to become anonymous. That restraint is part of Bhutan's larger identity, where development has often been measured against culture, environment, and continuity. Paro Airport carries that identity in physical form, modern enough to connect the kingdom, limited enough to remind us what cannot be ignored. The result is an airport that feels like a threshold, not only between countries, but between two ways of seeing the world. One way sees the Earth as an obstacle to be flattened. The other sees it as a force to be studied, respected, and carefully entered. At Paro, aviation becomes a form of reading. Pilots read air, mountains, light, and memory, all before the runway fully reveals itself. This is why the airport continues to fascinate travelers, pilots, and documentary viewers. It compresses the impossible into a few controlled minutes. The camera can show the valley, but it cannot fully capture the judgment required when a jet descends between living mountains. It can show the runway, but not the invisible discipline behind every safe arrival. It can show the golden roofs and green slopes, but not the quiet respect that the approach demands. That is the real mystery of Paro, not that aircraft land here, but that they do so without making the mountains surrender. Every successful landing proves a delicate agreement between machine and landscape, between global movement and local geography. In a world of airports built to feel the same, Paro remains unmistakable. It belongs to one valley, one kingdom, one difficult path through the sky. And perhaps that is why it stays in the imagination. It is not the biggest runway, or the busiest, or the most futuristic. It is something rarer, a place where the modern world must slow down, look carefully, and ask permission from the mountains. The aircraft may arrive with engines, instruments, and training, but the valley keeps the final word. Above Bhutan, the mountains do not move aside. They simply open, briefly, for those who know how to enter. And when the runway disappears behind you, the lesson remains. Some gateways are not built to dominate the earth, but to respect it. This was the Golden Atlas, inside the airport where mountains decide the landing. Another mystery still awaits.